All right, but to me, when you're like really investing into a lot of character work, that's kind of the relationship. And so we did that together completely, and it was very, very, I'm not taking credit for his work, but I'm just saying that because that's his work. And he worked very, very well with his makeup woman. His makeup woman is like the third member of the creative team, because she's not doing makeup. Her name is Ilona, and she's magnificent.
She works with him wherever he goes?
She works with him. That's what she does. She
makes up De Niro.
Yeah, but it's not about vanity. It's not about making him look good. It's about character. It's about, you know, would this character have coffee stains on his teeth? You know, what color hair? How much gray in it? Any gray at all? Should the whole thing be gray? All right, you know, sideburns. What about the tattoos? It's all about character, and then it's like Bob, me, and her. And I was very lucky to be brought into that, you know, to have him so willingly bring me into that creative process with him.
And when you looked at the dailies and when you looked at the film when you were editing it, how good is he?
He deserves his reputation as possibly the greatest actor of his generation. I've come to the conclusion from editing a film that he's made, seeing every last little bit of footage, I think he is the best actor in the world.
And what makes the best actor in the world? What is it that you see there? Because in sports, you can measure it. He won 5 Masters. He was a Wimbledon champion.
Yeah,
He won the World
I know
Series.
exactly what you mean.
He's run the mile in 3 minutes and 57 seconds. You know, that kind of thing. What is it about the best actor?
Well, I'll tell you what I mean from my point, because you almost can't compare artists to athletes because somebody's this is not somebody's that. Having said that, I've never seen an actor so completely consume himself in character, in true character work during the work. All right, and what I mean by that is when Robert is playing Lewis and you're looking at every single solitary piece of footage you've ever shot on the man, all right, every single moment, he is Lewis, he is working moment to moment. He's not thinking about over here, I'm going to do this and this and this and I'm going to get to this. Over here doesn't exist. The only thing is right here, what's happening right now. And, you know, some acting people suggest something to the effect of like there's a zillion choices out there and any one of them is possible and any one of them is great. I actually don't believe that at all. If you are really in character, you only have a few choices. If something weird were to happen at this table right now, there's not a zillion ways Charlie Rose is going to react. There's probably about 4 ways Charlie Rose will react, all right? And De Niro has that down. He is so in character. He could be doing a scene right here, right now.
He'd know the 4.
Yeah. He would. He would know the 4, and if a dog came walking onto the set, he's not going to go, oh, cut, or anything like that.
He'll do what I would do.
He'll make that work. He'll do what you would do.
Right. You want to be, over the term of your life and career, considered serious about acting.
Yes.
You don't want people to think, I do these cameo things or I play with acting as a kind of fun thing. You want to say, I can do this, and I'm going to polish, work on, develop that craft.
That's exactly true, yeah. And it's like, it's kind of blowing people's minds.
Yeah.
I don't think people either know what to make of it.
They don't take you seriously when you talk about acting?
Well, I actually think they are this go-around. All right, but it's the first time I've ever really talked about it, all right, in serious terms and kind of stating where I'm coming from. I think they thought I was screwing around before, all right? And, you know, I can even kind of see where they're coming from just a little bit insofar as some of the things I did early on, which I'm not ashamed of, but they were what they were supposed to be. They were supposed to be kind of comedy turns.
Why do you want to be an actor? Why do you want to act is a word, not a question why you want to be an actor.
Right, why do I want to act? Well, it's what I started doing, all right? It's like, my first entry into show business was acting. The only formal study I've ever had in my entire life has been acting. I quit school in the 9th grade. I didn't go to high school. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to director school. I didn't go to writing school, whatever that would be. All right? I've studied acting and I've studied boxing, and those are the only only sense of study or academia I've ever had.
And did you find anything similar about those two things, acting and boxing?
Yeah, actually I have. It's like about, you know, not going backwards, going forward, and just, not even so much being aggressive, but just like, you know, not going backwards towards what you're trying to do.
Leaning in terms of acting.
Exactly. The thing is, though, as far as, but the thing is, look, I understand that. I understand people might think that, but you know what, though? I don't have to worry about that because I'm going to be here for a little while. And yeah, I'm probably not going to get any respect for it for maybe the next year, 2 years, who knows. But I'm going to keep doing it, all right? And then eventually, if the work is standing up, people will not be able to help but see the work. But I say that, and I sound a little weird when I say that to meet my own self because I sound a little defensive, and it's only the media. It's not other actors. I have got nothing but encouragement from other actors. Other actors respect my work that I did in Dusk Till Dawn. They like the work. Other filmmakers like my work that I did. They like that, and they're looking forward to me to do something else. And they like that I'm not letting Entertainment Weekly, right, because they might like write a snotty thing about me, but I'm not going to stop. Mira supports me all the way down the line on this, and it's so great.
Has she changed you, Mira Sorvino, your lady? Has she changed you at all? Has she? I mean, are you, because of her in your life, in any way different? Have you mellowed? Have you done anything different? Are you more driven, more in touch, more anything?
I think what she did for me, I think it was something, I think also it was wonderful timing. It was something that I think I was happening in me anyway, just as a function of time, and I just happened to have just the right lady come in there to make the process even smoother and even deeper and go a little further with it than I would have maybe on my own, I'm just a man now.
Yeah.
You know, I held on to my boyhood. Not even too long. I was just fine. I was a boy, a kid, and having a great time, and it was all good. It was all good. Yeah. All right.
And it was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, and I look at old interviews of myself and everything that I did and everything. Forget about the stuff before that. I just look at old interviews of myself, and I like that guy. That's a nice guy. All right. But I'm just a man now. It's just different. All right. And I also realized.
So it's maturity or something. The difference between.
It's maturity, it's masculinity,
yeah,
it's everything, and these were all things that I held in reserve. But you see, I don't know how to say this other than to just say this. Mira's a real woman. She's a woman, all right, and I was coming into my own as a man, all right, and then woman met man, and woman and man got deeper. We met each other at just the right time, but she's a woman. And you got to keep up with a real woman. When you're with a real woman, you better be a real man.
And she would say the same thing, you think, in terms of understanding the sort of dynamics of this relationship?
Oh, yeah. I think so. But you'd have to ask her.
I will. She's Clint Eastwood for you. As you look in terms of body of work, which is a word that comes to you now, and you think about that, you know you're established, you know that you have something going, you know you've got talent, craft, vision, screen, and abilities in a variety of the disciplines that make a film. Eastwood, you admire because?
Well, actually, what I admire the most about Clint Eastwood, all right, is the fact that he's an artist, and he's an artist who has managed to control his own world with a patron studio. Yeah, Warner Brothers. All right. He has a very unique situation at Warner Brothers. Now, there's other filmmakers that have unique situations. Martin Scorsese could set up a situation like that pretty much at any place, and that he'd be doing his thing, all right? And Woody Allen has that relationship with whoever he works with. But Eastwood is a little different, because Eastwood has a situation with Warner Brothers, and it's lasted for a long time, all right? And it's been profitable for them for a long time. And he has like a responsibility that you just don't see in other filmmakers as far as his relationship to Warner Brothers. They're family, There's just no 2, 3, 4 ways about it. Okay, Clint Eastwood is a member of the Warner Brothers family, all right? And at the end of the day, he's as important as anybody at Warner Brothers. And it doesn't matter if his last film was a hit or not.
Back to this movie, because I want to move on to a lot of other things. When you're making this movie, you've written your script, you've given it to Miramax. This is the script I'm working on. This is the script. This is it, guys. We're going.
Right.
We've cast this thing. We've got De Niro, we've got Pam Grier, we've got Forster, we've got
Bridget Fonda.
We got Bridget Fonda in this.
Michael Keaton.
And Michael Keaton is in this. And so we're ready to go. What's it like once you start? You get up in the morning and you go shoot. You've got your shooting schedule there. Did you come in on time for this film?
Oh, yeah. We always finish on time.
Not over budget?
No, not at all. You're a little under budget, actually.
What do you do other than make the film while you're making a film?
Well, you know, it's funny because I directed this film a little differently than I've directed my other movies. And I think it was partly due to the influence that acting's had on me recently, just thinking about it a lot. When I was talking about De Niro, we were talking about the whole thing of being moment to moment, all right, and not being result-oriented. It's about just where you're going while you're at that moment. And I showed up on the set. I'd show up on the set, and I did this a lot in the first 2 weeks, and then finally it was just completely my way of working, is I'd show up on the set with not a shot list or no storyboards or anything like that. All right. I mean, for like a really big cinematic sequence, like I knew I wanted to have that crane shot and that stuff with Ordell and Beaumont, you know, in the trunk. Or I knew that. I needed a crane for that day because you got to tell them there'd be a crane there. But aside from that, if most of the just acting scenes, I'd show up first thing in the day, and I wouldn't have a shot list. We didn't know exactly what we were going to do. All right, we'd just go on the set, and we all shot on location. And then me and the actors would walk through the scene. The crew was gone, except for maybe the cinematographer. And we'd just kind of go through the scene. All right, and we would see where we were that day. Yeah, we had 2 weeks of rehearsal, but nothing was ridiculously said unless it was super important. And we just kind of found it. Very no pressure, just discovered it that day. All right, so then we did that. And then once you do that, especially when you're talking about an acting scene, how to cover the film becomes fairly obvious. You know, where's the best place to put the camera to get the most out of what the people are doing. So then you send the guys off to makeup, and then I would do the shot list, and then I knew after about a couple hours or an hour and a half or so, actually about an hour and a half, you know, from the moment set officially started, I'd know what I wanted to do that day. And I liked working that way. It's like directing moment to moment. I'm not dragging. I always make fun of people who do all this work in their bedroom, right, you know, with a shot list, or even actors practicing how they're going to do this and that. You got to leave the bedroom at home, all right? You know, and as an actor, what you want, you know, and some actors are different, but like, you know, what I like is my method is to just invest in the character and don't worry about the text. Just invest in the character, and when you show up, you're the character, and there you go. Same thing as a director, but instead of investing in character, you're investing in the text. You're trusting the fact that you know this piece of material. Yeah. So now it's up on its feet.
Name me 5 living, the list is not just 5, but name me 5 living directors that could teach you something about directing.
Steven Spielberg.
Because?
He's just such a perfect filmmaker, as far as, like, you know, when he comes up, you know, like the Taking of Shanghai sequence, for instance, in Empire of the Sun, and I talked to him about Private Ryan. He goes, "Oh, we're going to create the greatest, like, taking of Omaha Beach ever," and I have no doubt he will. All right, he's just a master movie maker.
This is a film he's making now.
Exactly, this one coming out, you know, and I'm sure he's going to do the greatest taking of Omaha Beach ever captured in cinema, on film ever. You know, that kind of filmmaking language, I think I've got it too, but in a different way. But I could learn something from him. Okay. I could definitely learn something from him.
Spielberg is one.
Spielberg would be one. I think I could learn things about I could learn from Scorsese, but how I could learn from Scorsese is not like how he does anything. You know what I mean? Because how he does it is how he does it, and how I do it is how I do it. But Spielberg, I mean, Scorsese is so much film and love of film. I might be a better director if I just had dinner at his house every week and we just talked. Does that make sense?
Well, of course it does, yeah.
All right, not about filmmaking per se. Yeah. And I wouldn't doubt that he didn't feel that way about Fellini, too.
When Fellini died, he came on this show and talked about it.
I saw it, yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing, is that you two share that. I've never asked Marty this, but I think other people have talked about it. In fact, women in his life have talked on this program about it. When women come into his life, he has them watch films. I mean, Dawn Steele talks about that.
Yeah.
You know, do you do the same thing? I mean, are you obsessed about movies so much? The history, the love, the differences,
I was.
composition.
Not so much anymore.
That's when you were